What is up, everybody? It is a Wednesday night and I'm out here in a local spot. I mean, it is beautiful where we are right now. It's about, not wearing my watch, 45 minutes until sunset, and I've scoped out a very nice spot in which I hope to see a beautiful cast of light over the wheat fields that are scattered about behind me. And I'm pretty excited about this because if you've been watching the channel for a while, and I think you should, if you haven't, you should subscribe and ring the bell right now. I've been looking for a spot like this for a very long time, and I love wheat fields and how they look, and I've never really photographed one successfully at sunset before. So that's what I'm gonna try to do tonight. Now, I've scoped out a lot of locations similar to this, but I've never been at one that was a little bit higher up than everything else because the way these wave down, and I have these tire tracks from tractors, combines, I don't know what's going over these and irrigating or whatever, irrigators, I don't know. But they have these tracks going down that you can follow, and that's what I'm gonna try to frame up. The only problem here is I'm starting to think, like, is the composition good enough of where I am right now? And I think it is. I think it's gonna be a successful shot because of the tracks that I have going throughout the frame. I don't think I can photograph this in wide angle because of how big the scene is. I really want to try to narrow it down and seclude out these tracks, these irrigation tracks that kind of lead you back through the frame and over the hills. And I'm also hoping that the sun on this side casts in and gets good light coming in over on this angle, because that's really going to give me a lot more contrast within this frame. And then in the background you have the trees and the clouds that are facing due north are looking really good for sunset right now, because we have a wind coming in from the south that's kind of pushing everything this way. Sun's going down in the west. I think that the angle on the clouds and the light is going to be really good. So I've got my fingers crossed tonight that this could be the shot that I've been looking for several years now. I just really think, again, if you watch the channel a lot, I really think you need to scope out local places a lot more often, because it gives you that ability to get out more often, get out and shoot a lot more often. And that's what I've been trying to do around here. You know, I drove around for a good hour tonight trying to find a barn that I could use in this composition. I found a couple, but there were no good spots to pull over and park at. And I'm not big on parking in the middle of the road lest I get hit by oncoming traffic. So this is basically the shot I found. Now, would I like for there to be a barn right back here that I could frame up and get in the composition? Absolutely, but you can't think like that. You just have to work with what's in front of you. So we're gonna frame this up, watch the sun continue to go down, and just enjoy this beautiful weather. I mean, it's 75 degrees, late spring, West Tennessee. What more could you want? As I was setting up for the sunset shot and the composition that I thought I wanted, I started to notice this scene over to my right. And I love how the clouds in this image just pair up perfectly with the shape and the lines that go with the top of the trees. Matching these lines, I really think made this composition what it is. Get this. So I decided to use my telephoto lens again because you can get a lot of those tracks of these irrigation rigs that have come down here and plowed through here. You know, it's so funny when I try to talk farm talk, because I live in West Tennessee. I don't fit in around here at all. When people ask me what I do for a living and I say I'm a photographer, they're like completely dumbfounded at what that could possibly even mean. A lot of people around here are really rural, and I love that about it. You know, it's a different pace, it's a different culture almost. It can be frustrating at times, but in other times, I think that being in locations like this can be hard for people to remember that stuff like this is around you, just because like you can get frustrated sometimes with where you live, and it's that the grass is greener on the other side, and constantly wanting to be somewhere else. Like, I would love to photograph mountains all the time, but if I photograph mountains, you know, would I get the same effect with waterfalls? Someone is literally shooting a gun right now. Hopefully not in this direction. That's what I mean about it. It's a different culture out here. All right, I think we're good. Anyways, whatever I was saying, I'm gonna photograph this in a 70 to 200. I'm gonna get these tracks going down. We're already starting to get more shadowing on these ridges of the wheat field down here, which is a fantastic thing, because when we get that shadow on that angle, on that ridge of this little hill, this little crest, it's going to give us another line to use in our composition, more contrast pulling in on that too, and more highlights and shadows that we can play with in post. It's really important to think whenever you are in the field, and I had this conversation with somebody the other day, of the process is not one or the other, you know, both complement each other. So when you're in the field, you think about what you're gonna do in post-processing. When you're in post-processing, you think about what you shot in the field. And when you combine those and you do them in sync, a lot of times, more often than not, the photograph comes together a lot better. Because when you get over into post-processing, you're not like, I really wish I did a double exposure here. I really wish I would be able to mask in X in this image. So when you're thinking about that in the field of what you can do in post, you get more creative ideas that start coming up in your mind about what you're photographing. I haven't really decided 100% what I'm gonna do, any extensive work with this. I have no idea. I may use a filter for this since I'm not shooting directly into the sun. But I'll take you guys into the camera and show you exactly what I'm looking at. These bugs, there's so many bugs out here. Actually eating me alive. It's a good thing I brought the rain jacket just in case there was a rogue storm, because this is how I'm going the rest of the afternoon. So right now I'm at 1/6 of a second f/14 ISO 100, and I'm just watching this histogram because the sky is pretty bright. I thought about using a grad ND filter, but I just didn't want to overcomplicate things and work with too much that was going on. I am going to switch up my white balance to sunny. That should do it. Change my display back to what I'm seeing. And we have all those tracks going back through the frame here, and I have it framed up in a way, if you can see right here, of getting these tracks throughout the entire frame. 1/6 of a second f/14 ISO 100. And if you're wondering why I get up on top of my car, I always say if it was good enough for Ansel Adams, it's good enough for me. Unfortunately, I don't have a Wagoneer with a roof rack built on top of it. I have a white Kia Optima that can hold a 205-pound human being. So I am up high. I'm trying to get all that detail. The light's dying a little bit right now, so I'm gonna fire off an exposure. I don't know, let me just check this focus real quick. I'm gonna spot focus this down to about right there probably. Looks about good. Take one more. 2-second timer because I forgot my cable release. And I should have enough detail back in these clouds. They're kind of like pinkish and mixed with the blue light of sunset. I think this is gonna work out just fine. I'll take a brighter exposure just to have it. And lastly, what I'm gonna do, what I like to do every single time I'm out and shooting, is try to get a bracketed shot of like one underexposed, one proper, one over, just to combine those if I want to. So what I'm gonna do is brighten this up a little bit. I'm gonna change my display to see that histogram in the bottom right corner, just to check and see that those highlighted skies aren't coming in too much. I'm gonna snap this one. Gonna do one a little darker. The problem with this is that not only am I shaking the car, which can be a problem, but that it's a little bit humid tonight, so I don't want that haze coming in a lot, but this looks pretty good. Not too upset about how this is looking right now. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna keep it where it is right now. I might fire off a couple different ones, but if I do get different settings, I'll let you guys know in the finished photo. So that does it for tonight's shoot. Bug bites on top of cars, didn't dent the roof. It's all a good night. Warm weather, I love the warm weather. I hate the cold. I think tonight was good. You know, sunsets are a tricky thing. They're kind of a hit or miss. All indications pointed to a really good sunset tonight. It was an okay sunset, but the experience and just being out and seeing everything and seeing all the color and finding this new location, I had no idea this was here. I just drove down this road completely lost, not even really knowing where I was, generally knowing, but completely not fully aware of where I was going, and found this place. And it's an example of getting out and just shooting. You know, I'm in a much better mood after getting out and photographing tonight, and you know, hopefully getting a good photo. Who cares if it's really not, because I had fun doing it. We'll play around in post-processing and I'll show you guys the finished photo at the end of this. But I just kind of want to encourage you guys to, every time you go out to shoot, just wait until the end. Wait until the end and take the photo. Hopefully it's a great one. Hopefully you get a lot of color in the sky. If not, just enjoy the experience of being outside. Enjoy local spots just the same as you enjoy going on a big trip and photographing something for days at a time. So I'm probably gonna sit out here and watch the remaining rays of light on these clouds, and man, just a beautiful night. Hey, if you're still hanging around, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. Beautiful sunset. If you want more adventures like this, if you want to come out with me in the field, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also ring the bell to be notified when I'm out in the field next time.